Okay.
That took a while.
It sure did. We are doing great. Oh no. That's too big of a face. All right.
You've got a big change that overlay. This is
Yeah, I'm
what
gonna drop
happens.
this.
We usually don't put you in charge of this aspect of
I
the
am
production.
learning how to do this on the fly today. Hi, everybody. Hello. How's everyone today? How are you,
Hey, what's up?
Brandon?
Uh, I feel like such a cliche every time I'm like, I'm busy and tired. But
But it
I'm
is like
busy and tired.
the essential truth of being a leftist, I think, is we are all so tired
We're
all of the
not,
time.
no, 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 we are not all tired. That's just the ones of us that fucking work. We have the fucking hot couch
Okay,
left,
fair.
and they are enjoying our content. They're getting high right now, having a fucking drink, and they're just fucking cooling it.
Yeah, yeah,
God bless them.
pass me the piece in the booth. I'm ready to go. I would love to be a hot couch leftist and not do anything.
That's
So,
my dream. That's my goal.
I guess
I
like
gotta finish this.
the stereotype is that's every leftist's dream and goal, right?
Yeah,
We all want to do nothing.
everybody thinks that we're all just in the basement, in mom's basement, playing Xbox and making podcasts.
You
And
know,
would that it were so simple.
I mean, like, technically, my partner, his room isn't a mom's basement because it's like our
Ah,
house and we have different rooms, and
got
his is
him,
downstairs.
got him.
But he's also like a family man and breadwinner, so I don't know. What are you
One,
gonna do?
I rate it as a 100% certified. Got him.
Absolutely. So, anyway, hello everyone. The NRA got their shit pushed in. How's that going for everybody?
So how legit is this? Like, in
Pretty
terms of
fucking
like,
legit. Yeah. So,
well,
I mean, like, is anything gonna happen with it? Like,
that's the actual legit. Like when we're talking about
right,
criminality with the
right.
Republicans, it's like, yeah, that's real. Yeah, they did crimes. Like we know that's their whole fucking gimmick. We literally have an episode of this show fucking called
Hmm.
President Crimes. Like that's his MO. So
Yeah,
now we're
yeah.
talking, will there be consequences for crimes?
And that is really
That
like
always remains to be seen.
always the question. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I know. So, for those who did not catch this relatively breaking news already, the New York Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against the National Rifle Association for being a bunch of fucking grifters, which, if you've been paying attention to them for the last, I don't know, 10 years or
Ever.
so, it's pretty obvious, right? But including some of the things they've done, I think it was something like $64 million that they misappropriated or some crazy amount like that. It was huge, unbelievable amount of money that they were spending on, vacations, on private jets, on like living the high life while doing absolutely nothing to, actually further their ostensible commitment to the Second Amendment.
Do
Uh,
you think I mean, they've that's such a great that's such a great hustle. Just billions of dollars being made off of boomer anxiety. Um, and it's
it's a good graph.
literally directly to gun manufacturers. Like
I
it's their
know.
organization. They made it up to
Mm-hmm.
they make a fucking paper and they send
Yep.
this fucking magazine to people. If you ever fucking bought a weapon, they try to upsell you this shit, and it's just a complete like white boomer paranoia magazine, like fucking Death Wish, just Death Wish monthly fucking sent to your inbox
Mm-hmm.
at all times. And then what do? You buy more guns, and you send them money so that they can keep fighting for your rights. Meanwhile, they're just fucking cackling. um,
Like
and
little
also
gremlins
like
they are.
absolutely. And there was a TV channel, Rachel.
Wait, they had a TV channel?
Well, it was a Roku channel. I don't know if that's. We could start a fucking Roku channel right now. We have enough. Like
Why
we
aren't we
could
on
compete
Roku?
with. Why aren't we on Roku? That's a good ass question.
It is a really
I guess
important question.
I guess if you like get the YouTube app and you wiggle this and that around, you could. But that's not the real homegrown kind of shit that we're talking about. But
No.
anyway, yeah,
Wait,
they have
homegrown
a
shit like the NRA?
no, but they have like an entire fucking cringe Roku channel that's just different, cringe, mid-budget. Like, you've ever seen like a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness video production where it's like,
Or
this
like a
is
leftist
surprising.
one.
Yeah, exactly. Um, if you've ever seen anything like that, that's kind of the production value they had, like respectable. Um, and just cringe stuff with like girls trying AK-47s or like Jesus Sunday and the fucking pastor's got a rifle. Just like cringe shit. And yeah, whole
Okay.
channel of NRA shit meant to sell more guns. So the grift was very wide reaching and very successful.
Well, and it was so fucking transparent. Like every single time like a black person got shot for legally holding a gun, they were silent. Every single time a white person went on a killing spree, they were very quick to defend them. I mean, they had very, very clear, transparent, and obvious motivations the entire time. They were selling fascism, you know? And they have gotten worse in recent years, in spite of how bad they've always been. And, part of this is, I was a shithead in college. I will admit, once upon a time, when I was
Where
like
you were a gun
21.
girl, and then you shat yourself, and you were like, "I can't go down this path anymore,
No,
bro. I can't embrace the shit."
I've never pooped myself the way Caitlin Bennett pooped herself. I don't know if anybody's seen the
Okay.
pictures. It's really an impressive vlog. No, I did. I was at one point a card-carrying member of the NRA. This is back when I was living up in Washington, D.C., and I was a very different person. And I was just like very much like a centrist lib. Like the fact that I was pro-guns to me was like, ooh, look at me. I'm so edgy. I take both sides and I consider them carefully. And, I didn't have any like real principles or anything. I just loved the idea of appearing to, straddle the fence or whatever. That being said, I mean, I do think guns are useful. I think there's a legitimate argument, especially nowadays, considering everything that's been going on with the police, it makes a lot of sense for certain demographics to have guns. Trans women probably should have guns. Black people probably should have guns. White people probably should not have guns, actually. We've pretty much proven we can't handle the responsibility, but I'm wondering
Well,
what you
here's the
think, Brandon.
thing. The vast majority of people like don't own firearms. Like, most of the guns are owned by people who like have armories in their house because
Right. They've
they're
got like
just
70
hoping.
guns.
Yeah, they're hoping for like a full Red Dawn situation, or they're like the people that have got like 3 guns and they just have this fucking fantasy of one day that wrong person's gonna bust into my house and I'm gonna blow their legs off like I'm in a fucking movie. And thus,
Right.
I don't know how many. Listen, I don't know what percentage of people just kind of hold that as a fantasy, but I bet it would be higher than they would admit. Let's put it like that. That's very fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is reasonably fair. And I mean, guns in particular, they're a very controversial issue, even within the left. There is objective data saying that if you have a gun in your house, you are much more likely to
blow your own face off trying to get the fucking
or like
peanut
one of
butter
your
off the
family
top of the shelf.
members. Yeah, you're much more likely to shoot somebody you love with a gun than you are to shoot an intruder with a gun if you own one. This is just like the numbers, statistically speaking. And there's a really solid argument to be made that like maybe we shouldn't have guns. But on the other hand, if you are, for example, a poor black person in a poor black neighborhood where calling the cops just isn't an option, it makes a lot more sense to have a gun.
Well, here's the thing. That whole should you have a gun thing, like the cat is out of the kitty litter. Like, that's already
What?
because like the cat
already
typically
took
like
shit, I guess. Okay.
No, the cat, you just roll the cat in the kitty litter and you're like, stay down there, cat, and the cat just hops out. You can't control a cat. That's my whole point of this metaphor.
Okay.
You can't control you can't control the guns because, like, first of all, we're in America and the distribution is extremely high, and what percentage of those people are gonna sell them back, like if there's a buyback, and what percentage of people, if like Beto O'Rourke is president and he has the fucking FBI go door to door, like, you got any guns in here? Give them back. Like, that seems like a recipe for I mean, we sit here all day talking about how, like, maybe putting people into these tense confrontations with the police is not a good idea. That also applies to you if you're white, by the way. Like, having the cops go door to door in your neighborhood looking for people with guns will probably end up in, like, a lot of fucking crazy shit going on that you don't really want in your neighborhood.
Right.
So how do, and also, like, 3D printing is coming. So Andrew, the gang already is like, we're trying to tell you guys about technology. So
You're
the
gonna
3D
get
printing
guns.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, you can fucking fax machine yourself a gun at this point. So what's the fuck?
Well, right.
Yeah.
The cat already took its shit, as you said, Brandon. Now we are just sort of left cleaning up the shit that it has tracked all over the house. And that's a pretty adept metaphor for the NRA, I think. I actually want to take a step. Oh, go ahead.
But you know,
what do I know?
This is one of my most bizarre takes, but I don't think it's that unreasonable. If you really want to reduce gun violence, give people health care so that they're not fucking stressed out about this shit all the time and in fear for their life and got this other shit that's banging at their, this fucking financial fucking stress that's banging at the door all the time. Maybe they won't fucking hate the people around them so much or feel inferior to the lifestyle that they feel like they should be having. And yeah, that's a whole thing.
Right. I mean, I think that makes sense, right? And when we talk about like crime and violence, generally speaking, I mean, the best predictors for all of these are, poverty, right? Desperation, fear, anxiety, like these very valid feelings that people are definitely struggling with, and have been increasingly for the last, century or so. And I think there is really something to be said for addressing these problems at their root, and I know you were on a Metro Atlanta DSA stream, or there was a Metro Atlanta DSA stream with some local activists who were talking about, defunding the police, abolishing the police. And like, it's the same core issue, right? Like when we talk about violence, when we talk about crime, when we talk about people's sense that they need to arm themselves, it all comes from that sense of instability. And it's the systemic issue. I did want to take a step back.
Every answer at the core must crush capitalism. And that's every
at the end
news
of the day,
story
right?
that comes down to, okay, yeah.
Right. Well, and I mean, like, it's, we have this sick system. I did want to take a second and talk about just like LaPierre generally, because Wayne LaPierre is an interesting and shitty person. This man, he sort of did a coup into the NRA a couple years back. And he really has been the driving force behind most of the misappropriation, most of the, shitty things they've been doing recently. He's like the core source of corruption. And I want to know, do you know anything about LaPierre? Have you heard about him at all? Ben?
Oh, I was gonna say that there's a comments bar on the right side of your screen if you'd like to bring up the viewer chat because people are complimenting your hair.
Oh, yeah.
All kinds of great things are happening over there. But yeah, in terms of Wayne LaPierre, he's an awful nightmare person. I think that you've summed him up perfectly. And really the thing that really, because like we're talking about, it is a grift and it's a good grift and all other stuff. But like, how do you get to the top of a grift that's that easy? Well, because it's an easy grift, it's very competitive. So the only way that you get to the top is through absolute moral callousness. Like if you think of like the worst people on the whole black conservative radar, or the whole like white lady who with a gun, Fox News blonde radar, they've always got to be the ones that are the most imprisoned in a way by that system. They have to be the most down with the program because there's a lot of room to replace you with other people in this easy grift. So Wayne LaPierre just kind of rose to the top of that grift because
right. Well, and that was back in the 90s, I think, is when that happened. So he's been around for a while. And I misspoke earlier. What I meant to say was he quelled a coup a couple years ago. There was, I think, Chris Cox. Is that what it was? Tried to like sort of overthrow him. And maybe that's what's going to end up happening, perhaps. But this was like last year. And he's also, Chris Cox did a lot with like their funding. I'm going to Google this real quick. Hold on 1 second. I know he was involved with like their PAC and stuff like that. And he Yeah, it was called the Political Victory Fund, which is sort of his big management. And he's sort of a controversial figure because, I mean, this is controversial within the NRA, right? Like, if you are the kind of person who's already into the NRA, he's controversial for you. So, like, you know, these are all evil people. They're all bad. We don't have to worry about that controversy. But his big thing was he actually supported the assault weapons ban. And that was like this huge deal, right? Because they considered for once like holding back. And then ultimately, obviously, you know, that bill was voted down. But that was sort of his big coup, was he was like, hey, maybe we could like actually step this back a little bit. And ultimately, LaPierre was victorious there. But that's sort of the political climate in which this is happening, right? Because that was 5 or 6 years ago. So it's still kind of, you know, brewing this disagreement and dissent within them.
I'm imagining a edgy 21-year-old you doing this exact video about Josh for Congress, and he's a very controversial figure. I mean, even we don't have to get into it. They're all bad, you know. Like,
I mean,
you know, they've got the socialists, the
bad.
anarchists, the Maoists. They're all bad. I mean, there's a lot of subcategories. Don't think too hard about it.
Everybody's bad. I'm bad. You're bad. This podcast.
That could be said about all of human interaction. That's so true. Like, they're all bad. The human race, they're all bad. They've got different categories, but don't think about it too hard. It's fine.
Right. Right. Well, so some other things LaPierre is famous for. He came out after Sandy Hook and was like, no, we still need guns, you know, and it's just like absolutely tone deaf, you know, like you were saying, fundamentally like callous, amoral bullshit. And so I think, you know, we can say safely, a lot of us are really excited to see this dude maybe even get his comeuppance and see the entire NRA taken down. At least that's how I feel about it. You know, I would love to see.
But now it's fucking Game of Thrones, Rachel, because now the fucking Iron Throne is up for grabs of this fucking grift, because the grift, like the organization might have gotten in over its head and fucking drank too deep, but the grift is still there, right? So if you're Caitlin Bennett, you're like, I don't know whether she had a show on NRA TV or whatever, but she's like, I got to team up with Ben Shapiro and we've got to make a new organization as soon as possible. We go and by the way, there's going to be like 12 organizations. The shit's going to be like The fucking Bachelor, because they're all going to go to the gun manufacturers and be like, you need a new organization to advocate for the Second Amendment and your rights. The NRA was a flawed organization and they may have dropped the ball, even though wink, wink, we know it was you guys anyway. But we need a new organization and we need one new standard. We're going to make more money than ever before because our first newsletter is going to be about how the deep state fucking destroyed the NRA and the fucking liberal Democrats like took away, you know, part of the assault on your rights. So there's all the money from the white anxiety is still there. And someone's got to hoover it up. And unfortunately, what replaces the NRA will probably be worse than the NRA, because they will be in tight competition with 4 other organizations that will be forming in the next, you know, 3 months after that becomes final, trying to absorb the same grift. So instead of Fox News, you're going to have the fucking One America Network, and they're all going to be, woo! It's going to be wild. It's going to be a ride.
There are already other organizations in place. Like, I'm off the top of my head, Gun Owners of America, the Sierra Club, I think, aren't they gunny? Another thing that they're into, they like guns.
No, I've been to some Sierra Club meetings. Nobody was strapped, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, I want to say they had some gun thing. I don't know. I could be completely wrong. I'm pulling this out of the top of my head, but I know that there are other gun organizations. There are even gun organizations on the left, which is what I was trying to get around this week. There is like the Socialist Rifle Association, and it would be fucking rad if we could, you know, see something like that take over. As far as I know, they've never done, you know, money crimes or like misappropriated funds. And I mean, I think that especially in the current climate, there's perhaps a reason to have guns. Like we talked, like obviously I'm white, I have the white anxiety, but also like genuinely, I'm not convinced we're gonna have an election in November. I'm not convinced that's not going to turn into like people shooting each other. So like, I don't know, if you want to buy a gun, buy a fucking gun. Just like, please, for the love of God, don't shoot your family.
I mean, look, the socialist, I see what you're saying in terms of like, what should we be as people taking away from this? But I also just, Yeah, but the Socialist Rifle Association is not going to get those dollars that the NRA got because they're like hate and fear driven dollars. Like just as a pure advertising product, it's
Right.
just the total. So there has to be an extreme right wing organization because
Hmm.
that is where that money is coming from. And I don't know how much
Yeah.
money they actually. And here's good news: like time is moving on these people, right? And part of
Right.
the reason why the NRA has gotten so weird in the last 10 years in terms of foreign funding and who they're working with is because that money is starting to dry up. It's not like
Right.
boom, like it feels like boomers have a never ending like flow of wealth, but there's not a never ending flow of boomers, right? So,
Right. Right. They'll have all
yeah,
the money so long as they exist, and thank God they're finally starting to die. Well, I think that's about all I've got for right now. For those who want to know more about this, we are actually in the process right now of scheduling the Socialist Rifle Association, who I am sure will be way, way more interesting to listen to than we are. But it was the big news today. We really wanted to get it across to everybody and just sort of update everyone on this breaking story, which was, for me personally, extremely exciting because fuck the NRA. And that's all I got for now. So I'll probably check back in
listen,
later.
wow.
I mean, do you have
That
more?
is no, I mean that's really basically the entire story. And listen, don't undersell yourself because we're devastatingly interesting and we're
Okay.
very fun to listen to, and it's true.
Extremely, extremely attractive. The
Yeah,
fans like my hair and makeup, which is
it's true.
awesome. So
So good.
anyway, that's about all we got for now. This is a quick one today. We just wanted to check in about the NRA, hopefully getting their just desserts. We will be back sometime this week with the Socialist Rifle Association to talk more about this and talk more about guns generally and the politics around guns. If you enjoy hearing us pontificate about breaking news and or just like me or Brandon as people and would like us to be able to feed ourselves, please consider giving us money. We do need it to live. We are currently fundraising for me to get a more ergonomic setup for my streaming situation so that I will not be in physical bodily pain when I am streaming, which would be really sweet. And if you would like to contribute to that, please consider giving us some money by subscribing, becoming a patron at patreon.com/not safe. We promise we will not use it for trips to the Bahamas yet. And
Yeah,
yet. And otherwise, we love you. Thank you to our patrons. You make this possible. You are how we afford to pay for things like StreamYard so that we can have a quasi-professional appearance. We love you. We
all right.
appreciate you.
You're spending more time on the intro than the episode. Let's get out of here. This is enough. They've got it for free. We'll
All
see you
right. Well,
guys later.
bye, everybody.
Bye bye.